Atlantic Treaty Organization. It has 29 member countries from Europe, Eurasia, and North America. This alliance was founded mainly on the principles of what NATO calls collective defense. These should be buddy countries, defending each other when needed, but the relationship goes deeper than that. We'll find out later how. NATO says it's open to new European members, just as long as they further the principles of this treaty and contribute to the security of the North Atlantic area. As for BRICS, that's an acronym that stands for the nations of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. It used to be just BRIC until South Africa came to the game in 2010 and pluralized the group. How do these alliances compare? That's what we'll find out today, in this episode of the infographic show, NATO versus BRICS. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell button so that you can be part of our notification squad. Yes, you are probably thinking, how can they compare these alliances? One is a giant and the other relatively small, if not growing fast. Well, this is a comparison just to help you learn more about both organizations, and we shouldn't really be thinking about it as some kind of literal matchup. However, you can watch the show and make up your own mind. Let's start with what NATO is. We'll list the 29 countries in order that they joined, bearing in mind that 12 countries founded NATO in 1949. These were Belgium, Canada, Denmark, France, Iceland, Italy, Luxembourg, the Netherlands, Norway, Portugal, the United Kingdom, and the United States. Greece and Turkey came next in 1952, West Germany in 1955, but when Germany in 1990 was reunified, what had been East Germany joined the gang. Next, over many years, came Spain, the Czech Republic, Hungary, Poland, Bulgaria, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Romania, Slovakia, Slovenia, Albania, Croatia, and last to join was Montenegro in 2017. It took longer for some countries to join because they were aligned with the Warsaw Pact, or in the case of a country such as Montenegro, because it was part of the former Yugoslavia. You might ask then, why is Serbia not a member? Well, according to NATO, unlike other Western Balkan partners, Serbia does not aspire to join the alliance. It does, however, want to stay friendly. Countries such as Australia are allies of NATO, friendly, but not in the group. It's the same with New Zealand. Turkey is the only nation in the group which is a transcontinental nation, often called Eurasian as it's mostly in Asia but partly in Europe. So, was NATO all about protecting each member and not starting another war? Kind of, and also an extension of the Marshall Plan to build trade between nations and also get them on one side against America's big bad wolf at the door, communism. You can also find plenty of articles and research out there that discusses the economic effect of being a NATO member. Most analysts agree that getting in with the group can bolster a country's economy, but also serve to help education, innovation, and entrepreneurialism. So, that's NATO in a nutshell. What about BRICS? Well, this collaboration started in 2006 when the first BRIC meeting was held. The group's raison d'etre was, like NATO, to help its members, but there is less emphasis on defense. BRIC members would support each other regarding the economy, business and trade, education, agriculture, health, technology, science, and the arts. Matters of defense, of course, are also matters of economy, so the twain meet occasionally. The International Monetary Fund says these BRICS countries together control about 22% of the world's GDP. In terms of population, these 5 countries are made up of around 42.58% of the world, over 3 billion people. As for NATO, well, it's much smaller in terms of population at around 800 million people, but the nations of China and India, according to the UN, are going to explode over the next 40-odd years, while Nigeria will take over the United States in terms of population. So regarding the amount of people, BRICS is going to be more like a stone wall casting a shadow over the fence of NATO. BRICS nations are said to be more developing than some of the more developed economic powerhouses of NATO, nations that have been rich and powerful for a long time and have wielded imperial military might all over the world for many years, often in a bloodthirsty manner, we might add, but this has given them much power and improved industry and innovation. According to a NATO report, the GDP of every NATO country is almost $38 trillion. The USA makes up for a large chunk of this, with Germany, France, and the UK also being strong economies. BRICS has a total GDP of around $17 trillion, with China leading the way. It's anyone's guess what will happen to these economies over the next 15 or 20 years, but most economists don't see BRICS slowing down. Many people think that by 2030, China's economy will be bigger than the USA's, while India won't be far behind in 3rd place. Russia, Japan, and Indonesia will be grouped behind India, so we are told, but with much smaller economies. While Brazil will also be a top 10 nation, so will Germany, the UK, and France. Well, that's the prediction. This is in spite of many articles telling us over the last few years that the BRICS bubble had burst, with China seeing some economic slowdown and Russia and Brazil feeling the sting of recession. The Guardian referred to this, stating, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa seem to be failing to justify predictions of 21st century domination. Time will tell. Another problem BRICS faces is endemic corruption, and this is generally not seen as something good for social and economic progress. BRICS countries also still have plenty of abject poverty, even while the middle class grows. India, for instance, according to the recent book India Conquered, The Chaos of Empire, still has an oppressive caste system and often ensconces its wealthy far away from a poverty it would rather not know exists. This is generally seen as stifling social mobility. By the way, the book takes a very dim view of empire, to say the least, but does say India's class system is a major problem as India tries to develop. One economics analyst at the University of Cambridge recently stated, though, that there is progress, writing, despite these obstacles, evidence from surveys of nationally representative samples indicates that there has been convergence between the upper castes and the lower castes on education and occupations over the past decades. We should also state here that Britain's class system still exists, food banks are common, and the poor often live in towns full of charity shops, discount grocery stores, and betting establishments for the poor's fix of hope. The USA, meanwhile, is said to contain a third world within the highly developed nation. Still, overall in the latter countries, there is more opportunity for the average person and a much firmer safety net in place for the vulnerable. In terms of military, you'll know from our long list of shows that NATO has the most powerful, mostly because the USA spends so much on defense. NATO writes that total defense spending for all its members in 2017 was almost $946 billion. That is a huge sum. BRICS in total has a defense budget of $286.4 billion. There is no way we can list how strong each country is individually, but we do know from our other shows that Russia is very strong in terms of defense, and India and China are both increasing their military strength at a rapid pace. We also know the USA won't stop spending, while the UK, France, Germany, Italy, and Turkey also have strong militaries. As for nuclear strength, that's shared between Russia and the USA for the most part, and the outcome of that kind of battle would likely be the end of us all. So, what are your thoughts about all this? Will BRICS take over NATO in terms of a collective power, or does it still lack in certain advancements?
Shalom. I want to give all praises to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shah by Hashem, Wakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders that rule well, and peace and blessings to brothers out there that's kicking his words and sharing the truth. Today I wanted to go into, what the BRICS organization is and how it's going to affect America. You're seeing these other countries making moves outside of the grip of America. And a lot of these countries are actually, for lack of a better term, bucking up against America. Now, BRICS, we know that the members are Brazil, Russia, India, China, and also South America. But there's also other countries that are a part of BRICS. Now, one country that comes to mind is Turkey. And Turkey has been in the news recently because it's actually stopping drilling from happening in the island of Cyprus, man, because it's claiming that it owns what the northern part, so it's stopping this company called the E9. Excuse me if I'm saying it wrong, but that's actually an Italian multinational oil and gas headquarter company that's headquartered in Rome, and it operates actually at like 79 countries. So I believe it's the 11th largest industrial company, and that is actually backed by America. So you have certain moves that are being made by BRICS, by so many BRICS members, and also by the U.S., man, that's gonna cause trade wars, man. America has, the big news is all the tariffs that went out. Now, I want to say about 4 or 5 of the members of the BRICS organization actually produces steel. You see, Canada is interested in it. Well, let's see who else. As I have it actually written down, I want to say that let's see here. Let's see here because I have it. Okay, so it's Brazil, Russia, and Mexico. And Canada is actually a potential member of the BRICS organization. So that's going to be affected by the tariffs that America is sanctioning, man. So we're living in some very interesting times, man. As you can see, that the other nations are taking up a parable against Babylon, and they're actually rising up against Babylon. So I wanted to bring that short clip out, and also briefly touch on what's going on in the news as concerning the Brexit and chiefly really America. You know what I'm saying, and also just I wanted to bring out how this is all prophesied. We're going to see more nations rise up against America, man. And Brexit is only the start. With there's no telling what the EU, some of the EU nations are going to do to combat these tariffs. Germany, we don't know what they're going to do to combat these tariffs, man. It's a possibility they could, have some talks with Brexit, BRICS, excuse me, with BRICS. So, you know, we're hastening that day, man. Hey, it's a beautiful thing to see these nations rise up against, that great whore, what I'm saying, which is America, man, because it has done nothing but rule the world, with wickedness, man, and also that legislation, man. What I'm saying, or its philosophy. If you want to get spiritual, you see. So, without further ado, let's get to these scriptures, though. This is Isaiah 13 and 1. The burden of Babylon, which Isaiah, the son of Amos, did see. Lift thee up a banner upon the high mountain. Exalt the voice unto them. Shake the hand that they may go into the gates of the nobles. I have commanded my sanctified ones. I have also called my mighty ones for my anger, even them that rejoice in my highness. The noise of a multitude in the mountain, like as a great people, tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathering together. Yahweh of hosts mustereth the host of the battle. That's right. So the Most High is going to induce these different countries, man, to go to war with one another, man. And that's what we're seeing. You see, America. Everybody's getting tired of America and his grip that it has on, everyone globally, man. With the petro dollar, man, that they're able to bully into a lot of people into certain deals. You know what I'm saying? They're able to go and break certain laws. You see, you got President Obama. He one of his principles that he ran for office was the fact that Bush entered into Afghanistan unconstitutionally, but he did the same thing in Libya, man. Lied about old Gaddafi. You know what I'm saying? Went over there and bombed everybody, bombed the people, and set up a puppet. You see, well, hey, we went over there to Afghanistan, man. Took all the opium fields, man, and nobody could say anything about it because hey, America's on top. But you seeing that power waning, man. People are, like I said, these nations are getting fed up. And these nations are gonna rise up against Babylon. Verse 5, they come from a far country, from the end of heaven, even Yahweh, and the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole earth. That's right, everybody's beefing up their defense, uh, the defense and things of that nature, man. Why is that, man? They're gearing up for war. That's what we're gonna see, man. We're gonna see some terrible times happen here in abroad, man. You see, hail ye, for the day of Yahweh is at hand. It shall come as a destruction from the Almighty. Therefore shall all hands be faint, and every man's heart shall melt. That's right. Let's go to the next scripture. This is Habakkuk 2 and 5. Yea, also, because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlarges his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his, how long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. Shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them? That's right, man. So, hey, America has ruled the whole world. You know what I'm saying? With that thick clay. You know what I'm saying? That debt that in particular that the petrodollar, the reserve currency, the reserve currency of basically the world, man. You know what I'm saying? You have to buy and sell oil using the petrodollar, which makes it extraordinarily strong. You see, and with their grip, man, they're able to increase, you know, in wealth, you know, dictate certain laws, let who gets sanctions or not, man. You know, starving out nations, man. You see what I'm saying? Did that in Iraq in the 90s. You see what I'm saying? They able to do all these things, man, and increase that's not his, man. Take people lands and natural resources and things of that nature, man. But the other nations, as we're saying, hey, man, hey, they're gonna make they're gonna rise up against him, man. They're gonna make it. Right now, what we're seeing is they're making certain diplomatic moves, man, in order to move away from the petrodollar, man. You see what I'm saying? Hey, the prime example of that is China, which is a member of the BRICS organization, or the BRICS. Excuse me, I keep on saying BRICS organization. You see what I'm saying? Hey, the China is issuing out the petro yuan. You know, so people are going to be able to use the yuan as a way to buy and sell oil, man, versus the American dollar. You see, which is going to cause what? Hyperinflation. So now, basically, you got a trade wars going on, man, which is going to eventually turn to hot wars. And it's prophesied that Babylon the Great is going to lose. You see what I'm saying? Babylon the Great is going to be destroyed, man, by the other nations, man, and chiefly by Yahweh Shah when he returns. You see what I'm saying? Let's go to the next scripture, though. Isaiah 14 and 3. And it shall come to pass in the day that yet in the day that Yahweh shall give thee rest from thy sorrow and from thy fear and from the hard bondage wherein thou hast made to serve, that thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon, and say, how hath the oppressor ceased, the golden city ceased. Yahweh has broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted, and none hindereth. That's right, man. So, we hasten in this day, man. Hey, when we see, you know, the geopolitics that is heating up, we rejoice because we know that Yahweh by Yeshua Yahushua is about to return, and we're about to get the heck up out of here, man. Hey, the people, Americans, you Edomites, man. Hey, man, you have continually stroked the people, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, we could go on for days and days and bring out examples of all the wickedness and madness that the so-called white man has done with every single culture that he has encountered, man. You see, put those people, those indigenous people in the land under subjection. You know what I'm saying? But the Most High sees all this, man, and He's gonna return it back on your head, man. You know what I'm saying? That's what it says that Revelation 13:9, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Why is that, man? Because the Most High is fair, man. You see what I'm saying? And the Most High, and also the Most High is only dealing with the nation of Israel. The so-called white man was just set up for a day of wickedness. You know what I'm saying? A day of evil, like it says in Proverbs the 16th chapter, man. But that soon everything's going to be turned around. We know that because of the prophecies. You see what I'm saying? Let's go to the next scripture. Revelation 18 and 21. And a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying, thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down, and shall be found no more at all. And what is that great city of Babylon, man? Hey, it's America, man. Babylon, Babylon comes from the word Babel, which means confusion, man. Hey, that's where the word Yahweh by Shemiah Shai confounded the languages, man, and caused confusion. You see, and also look at what you see going on in America. Man. You see nothing but confusion, madness. So the Most High is gonna throw this place down, man. You see, verse 22, and the voice of harpers and musicians and pipers and trump, trump, trumpeters shall be heard no more at all in thee, and no craftsman or whosoever craft he be shall be found any more in thee, and the sound of a millstone shall be heard no more at all in thee, and the light of a candle shall shine no more at all in thee, and the voice of the bridegroom and the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee, for the merchants were the great men of the earth, for by they for by thy sorceries were all nations deceived. That's right, man. So when the Most High returns, man, hey, America is gonna be done away with, man. There ain't gonna be no buying and selling, getting married, things of that nature, music going out, things of that nature, man. Hey, all that's gonna be shut down by Yahweh, by Shemir Shah. You know what I'm saying? By his prophecies, and ultimately by him coming back and setting everything straight, man. You see what I'm saying? You know, because this place, you know, use violence as a means to rule these nations, and also using his sorcery, man. That wine or that philosophy, man, that he pushes on planet Earth. You know what I'm saying? Homosexuality, female rights. You see what I'm saying? Abortions. You see what I'm saying? There is no God. You see Satanism. You see what I'm saying? Social Darwinism, all that madness, man, he pushes on the earth, and all that's going to be turned upside down. All that's going to be found to be a lie when Yahweh Shai returns, man. You see what I'm saying? And within that, you know, we see these other nations gearing up to fight against this place, man. You see? So, hey, this is a beautiful thing, man. You know, hopefully this sit down was edifying. I want to give all praises to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Kakodash, the honors to the apostles and the others that rule well. And peace and blessings to you brothers out there that speak his word in sincerity and truth. Shalom.